Region 4 homeland for the Métis people of Alberta, the Inuit and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux people since time immemorial. The recognition of our history on this land is an act of reconciliation, and we honor those who walk with us. Thank you. Kinenaskum Tnawa.
And now, we would ask you to please stand if you're able, remove your hats, and join the singing voice of your Edmonton Oilers, Robert Clark, in the performance of the American and Canadian national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Of training camp come to an head tonight as the Edmonton Oilers play their final preseason game against the Seattle Kraken. Come Wednesday night, the games count for real. Good evening, everyone. Alongside Bob Stauffer, I'm Jack Michaels from our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Tonight, the Oilers and the Kraken will meet in their second preseason battle, Edmonton's 8th preseason game and Seattle's 6th. The Oilers 4-2-1, the Kraken 3-1-1, and Matthias Janmark off the face-off will take control and play it up the right-hand side. Broberg has it cut off and spilled back in by Eli Tolvanen. Whacked around the boards and down the ice by Vinny Desharnais, who begins the game with Broberg defensively. Up front, Janmark playing center ice, and we may see that come regular season action as well, depending on the availability of Ryan McLeod and some other variables that Jay Woodcroft has to take a look at. Derek Ryan and Adam Ernie are the wingers to start the game. Your starting lineup brought to you by Coventry Homes, and Will Borgen does well and gets a big shot on Derek Ryan and then follows him up. Ryan slashed him back as the Seattle Kraken take over puck possession in their own zone. Kraken are in the white with their sky blue trim. Edmonton wearing the blue home uniforms with orange and white. Connor Brown coming off a strong game where he scored twice and had an assist in Edmonton's 7-2 shellacking of Calgary on Wednesday. On that same night, Seattle got a late game winner from Tolvanen to win it 2-1 against the Vancouver Canucks. And so their only loss in regulation in the preseason came against Edmonton on Monday night when Jack Campbell, who starts tonight's game for the Oilers, was excellent. Here's a steal by McDavid, a quick dish to the net. Brown stopped by Philip Grubauer, the Seattle starter, and he's able to stretch out that left leg fully. Backed up by Joey Decord this season, Bob, as Chris Drieger is on his way down to Coachella Valley, who went all the way to the Calder Cup final last year in the American Hockey League under the direction of longtime NHL head coach Dan Bilesma. And Seattle and Edmonton are two teams with a lot of depth, strong defense, especially in the top four, and a lot of questions. Which is going to be the guy to emerge in net? Grubauer, it's a big season for him. He started all 14 playoff games a year ago. Seattle takes an icing call off the draw.
I have a lot of respect for Grubauer, but I got to say this, Jack. I mean, I like the combination of Skinner and Campbell just because I think that they're a little bit more established.
No question. I mean, Joey Decord, he's a good puck handler, but could he carry the mail for 40 starts? We don't know.
And what's crazy about what happened last year, that mammoth improvement for this team, is they still had sub-900 save percentage. Like it was.
Martin Jones won 27 games for this team. 27 of their 46 victories were courtesy of Martin Jones, is off the draw. A drive from Ben Gleason is speared by Grubauer.
Jack, they are deep. And this is a quick team. This is not a heavy team. They got some size in defense with, Alexiak, and Borgen's a physical player at 6'3".
Bob, they've got an element that you often describe as whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
They don't have elite level talent, but they've got a lot of guys who could fill the net.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, and even look at who's not playing tonight. Like, they don't have Yamamoto and Shane Wright going, and on a lot of other teams, like, I'm not sure they're going to be in the opening lineup for this team.
Kyler Yamamoto may not make the team. We've got a penalty coming up. It's going to be an interference call. And 2:06 into this game, we're going to have our first power play, as trudging to the box will be Adam Larson, who, of course, had a stellar 5-year stint in Edmonton, played 329 games for the Oilers, and had his strongest season ever last year. 33 points for a Seattle back end that was a lot more productive than I think you and I
anticipated. Their whole team was more, you talk about whack-a-mole, they got it from everywhere in the lineup. Now, they shot the lights out 5v5. Ironically enough, they couldn't get any stops. Penalty killing was not great last year, and the Oilers' power play, well, it's pretty good.
Off the draw, here's Evan Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins to the net with a centering pass. Looking for Hyman was McDavid, and the net may have been dislodged. Puck will come outside here with 2 minutes and 16 seconds having elapsed. The Oilers already getting 5 shots on Grubauer. Your Atco Power Play, Atco Energy, your trusted Alberta retailer. Told you about our Coventry Home starting lineup. I want to remind everyone that you can get back in the game with customizable designs by Coventry, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers. Off the draw, Jamie Alexiak dumps it in. As Bob mentioned, the Seattle special teams and goaltending were not strong suits last year, and still this team made the playoffs. 21st in the league in both categories.
But 5-on-5, really good, Jack. And they
Draisaitl turned it over at the blue line, and Belmar ushers a clear down the ice.
And sometimes you see teams that are good 5-on-5 teams in the regular season, they're capable of doing more than people expect in the playoffs, and I think that happened last year when Seattle beat Colorado.
Beat the defending champions in 7, lost to Dallas in 7. Here's Draisaitl off the rush. Low percentage shot from the right half wall, easily kicked aside by Grubauer and sent the length of the ice. Grubauer, even though he won fewer games than Marty Jones in the regular season, played all the postseason games, went 7-7, and still his save percentage was a rather pedestrian 903. And yet the Kraken came within a whisker of the Western Conference Final, and while Seattle was not a good matchup for Edmonton, the Oilers shellacked them 3 times, scoring 18 goals in their 3 wins against just 1 defeat head-to-head. The Kraken did have a pretty good record against Vegas, and a lot of people in Seattle tell you they would have felt confident matching up with the Golden Knights. Here's Nurse dishing off as the Oilers' second unit. Brown inside to Kane, but his one-timer was blocked. Rebound to Cody Ceci. And now Evander Kane has it back in the high slot. Ceci from the top of the right circle, down low, Fogle one-timer, and that was whipped off of Grubauer's pads by Connor Brown. Nurse hangs on to it. Brown could not get a touch on that puck, and with 4 minutes gone in the period, Seattle will get one final clear, and that'll do it for the Oiler power play. Now 4 for 32 in the preseason. Just a couple of changes for Edmonton as compared to the lineup they dressed against Calgary on Wednesday night. Derek Ryan is in for Dylan Holloway, and Vinny Desharnais on the back end is in for Philip Kemp. Other than that, the other 16 skaters are all the same, and of course Campbell starting after Stuart Skinner got the win in the victory over the Flames. Here's a chance for Adam Ernie off a dump in. Sharp angle shot sailed wide. Broberg over to Desharnais, and his right point shot flutters off the end boards to Peterson. Broberg, a one-timer, tipped just wide of Grubauer, and reaching the puck was Adam Ernie, but when he tried to deal it back to the point, it was taken away from Desharnais, and here's Oliver Bjorkstrand charging in from the left-hand side. Coming off a 20-goal season, he was one of 4 Kraken players to hit 20, and then Jared McCann got 40. Here's a one-timer blistered on net from Eli Tolvanen, and there was a glove save made by Jack Campbell. And Tolvanen's a guy that, if you look at his numbers, had he been with Seattle the whole season instead of kind of mired in a offensively challenged Nashville system, he would have had 20 as well. He had 16 of his 18 with the Kraken in about half a season.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you talk about that scoring depth the Kraken had, Jack, and I would assert to you that more should be expected. I mean, Schwartz has got to be healthy for the year, but Burakovsky, those two guys, I think you'd expect more from this season, so there's room for growth there.
Burakovsky was leading the team in points when he went down in February, and he's healthy and on the ice right now with the puck right corner. Tried a centering pass that pinballed through Jaden Schwartz. Bob, as you know, though, Jaden Schwartz, I mean, health has always been an issue with him. He is a dynamic player when he's out there. Alex Wenberg tried to center. That was tipped away. Derek Ryan up the left-hand side, and churning in is Evander Kane. Finds Ceci activating, but he couldn't get a backhander off. Good work on the back checking by Jaden Schwartz, who even with all the injuries has scored 20 goals 5 times in his career. Burakovsky rubbed out on the far side.
That was Gleason. Kind of low-bridged him there.
Gleason and Ceci a pairing tonight for Edmonton, and it's Gleason with a beautiful outlet on target. Hyman's into the net, and that was poked away by Grubauer with some interference on the backside. Jordan Eberle. Hard to believe Jordan Eberle turning 33, walking in. Here's Draisaitl to Hyman, a one-time backhand effort and a save made by Grubauer off a good rush against the Edmonton Oilers. And Edmonton has been sharp early, but so has Philip Grubauer. 7 saves in the first 6 minutes and 11 seconds. And that time he robbed Zach Hyman point blank. 13:49 to go first period. We're scoreless live at Rogers Place for the preseason finale.
Preseason Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 raffle. The jackpot now up over $52,000 and still climbing. Buy your tickets before tonight's 8 p.m. early bird draw for your chance to win $500 to Safeway or a pair of lower bowl tickets to the Heritage Classic during the 9 p.m. live draw in the third period. Purchase your tickets in person from 50-50 sellers on the concourse or scan the QR code on the video board and go directly to the buying link. Thank you for supporting the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. Fans, take part in tonight's Oilers Game Day Scratch and Win contest for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Doobie Brothers live in concert at Rogers Place October 24th. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the scoreboard or visit the Rogers Place app, select live and scratch and win, and you could be tonight's big winner. Go ahead and pull out your phones right now to play along. Thanks to everyone for playing.
Make some noise! This is the rhythm of the night.
13 minutes, 49 seconds to go first period. Oilers have outshot the Kraken 7-1. Two NHL heavy lineups on the ice tonight. Edmonton, Seattle. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, who started his NHL journey with his current coach, Dave Haxtell, when the two were in Philly. One-timer by Adam Larsson. That was blocked. Bellemare and Derek Ryan are the only two to make their NHL debut at 29 or later and play 500. Launched ahead for Hyman breakaway, and that's 2 in a minute. And this time, Grubauer stopped him on the forehand side. What a beautiful stretch pass. Hyman skated into it, but could not beat Philip Grubauer. That was launched perfectly by Evan Bouchard with touch behind Riker Evans, the highly touted Seattle prospect on the back end. And Hyman repelled by Grubauer.
There's not a lot of players who would have the presence of mind to attempt that sort of play like Bouchard made. Yeah, you mentioned that stuff, Bellemare and Derek Ryan. I mean, that's just incredible. You don't start playing in the league until the age of 29, and you're over 500 games.
Did I get that right?
Yep.
Is that
They're the only
you
two.
Said it the other night.
Only two currently in the league.
Here's a lead pass, left wing. Yanni Gourde breaks in, tried to center, and that was broken up. Left in the corner for Connor McDavid. The only two current NHL players, and Bellemare's 38, Derek Ryan 36, and both dressed tonight. Bellemare now on his 5th team. He's been to 2 Stanley Cup Finals with Tampa and Vegas, but still looking for the first Chalice. Here's a dump in and a quick chance. And McDavid was stopped by Grubauer, lunging to his left. Jamie Alexiak had it swatted away. Will Borgen is there to clean up. Evander Kane will give way, and a stretch pass intercepted by Ceci. McDavid the other way, left to right. His shot blocked initially, jabbing at it Grubauer, located by Connor Brown, but when he rolled it back to the point, Ceci had yet to establish his position. He'll fall back with Vinny Desharnais as we come up on 8 minutes gone here in this first period. No score. Shots are 9-1 Edmonton. Hyman's had a couple of breakaways. Lead pass, Lane Peterson. Hard shot, low glove. He's got an underrated shot. Right-handed shot coming down from the top of the circle and lasered that right in the glove of Philip Grubauer.
Man that gave Derek Ryan his first shot in the NHL. He's in the building as GM of the Seattle Kraken, Ron Francis. And our old friend, Ricky Olchuk, who's assistant general manager of the Oilers in a management role of Seattle. Great guy.
And also, of course, the management role with Carolina.
There you go, yeah.
Off the draw, Jaden Schwartz will pick up a loose puck in the slot, carry it behind his own net. Then he got bottled up by Warren Fogle. Speaking of ex-Hurricanes, Raphael Lavoie guides it back to Vinny Desharnais. That puck ate him up. He'll spin and just whip it right back into the Seattle zone. Oilers will change it up. And in the meantime, Brian Dumoulin, who joins Seattle after a decade in Pittsburgh, finds Andrei Burakovsky in over the line. Wrist shot. That was blocked by Darnell Nurse. Burakovsky, of course, a cup winner in Colorado. Sends it back to the point, Larson. Now Evans in the high slot. Wenberg, a shot does not make it through. Evans, what a playoff he had last year for that Coachella Valley team that went all the way to the Calder Cup final. An icing call whistled against Edmonton here. But he had 26 points in 26 games. He's a Calgary product. The Seattle blue line is crowded, but Riker Evans might just make way for himself. I mean, he's that talented and that good.
We liked him 2 years ago in preseason when we saw the Seattle Kraken in town. And obviously was a dynamic offensive player in junior. They do not have Vince Dunn. He signed a 4-year extension, just under $7.5 million. Had a wonderful campaign last year.
Banged up, but not long-term, I'm told, Bob.
Kind of looks like Evans is placeholding for Dunn right now in that top pairing with Adam Larson.
But Evans last year was an American Hockey League All-Star, Bob. It's just a matter of time. Second-round pick in 21. I think he'll play in the league this year. Send in deep, Matty Beniers. Last year's Calder winner, beating out Stuart Skinner for that honor. Held in by Evans for the moment. Now Bouchard with an outlet to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, coming off a 104-point season. Draisaitl gave it away at center. Jared McCann, 40 goals, Bob, and what did he play? About 16 minutes a night.
Yep.
Here's Alexiak, tried to center. Blocked by Evan Bouchard. Off the right-hand side. Well, one of the keys for Seattle's kind of to replace some of that depth. They lost 3 fourth-liners, including Daniel Sprong, who got 46 points, and he was playing about 11 minutes. Sent in deep, the Oilers. Cody Ceci. As you said, everything seemed to go in for Seattle last year.
Even Geekie was a real solid fourth-line center.
Ryan Donato, same thing. I mean, those guys could find the net.
Jack, Ryan Donato's on Chicago's top line with Bedard and Taylor Hall right now.
And he was often kind of an extra guy in Seattle, even though he produced like Daniel Sprong did. Had trouble finding minutes on this deep and talented team. Jamie Alexiak. Lead pass left wing. Ty Cartier wound it around. Stepping up, Justin Schultz. Cartier pursuing. What a debut he had. Came in when McCann got hurt on that late hit by Cale Makar in the Colorado series and immediately scored in Game 5 of that series against the Avalanche, which Seattle ultimately won in 7.
What a pickup for them. They didn't even draft him. They signed him as
no one drafted him. Lead pass, left-hand side, Connor McDavid. And I want to ask you about that, Bob. I mean, 45 goals. Now, I know he was in overage, but, I mean, is it still indicative that every once in a while a guy will slip through the cracks? Because I know you're high on the player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Oilers are going to have to go down that path because they're not going to have draft capital. They're going to have to find undrafted 20-year-olds.
Here's Connor McDavid shoveling it toward the middle.
Part of the reason they signed Brady Stonehouse, Jack. Same thing.
Tolvanen looked to clear. Stonehouse signing was announced yesterday. Vinny Desharnais bottled up by Yanni Gourde, another find from Tampa, now with Seattle in his 3rd year. But he was a guy who languished for years in the American League before Tampa promoted him. And Yanni Gourde, invaluable as a veteran leader on the Seattle group. Here's Evander Kane weaving his way in. Not much on the shot. It was partially tipped and rolled into the feet of Philip Grubauer, who has stopped all 10 shots that have come his way. Seattle has a grand total of 1 shot against Jack Campbell at the other end, and still we're scoreless. With 8:21 to play in the first period, the preseason finale for both teams. Pacific Division rivals.
All right, fans, I'm here with Oliver and Brett, and they're about to play our Tim Hortons Coffee Cup Shuffle. Now, on the line is an Oilers prize pack. Guys, this one's very straightforward, okay? In just a moment, I'm going to have you look up at the big board. You're going to see 3 Tim Hortons coffee cups, and we'll have a Timbit jump into one of the cups. They'll shuffle around, and then when they're done, you just have to identify which cup that Timbit is hiding in, and that Oilers prize pack is all yours, okay? You feeling ready, Oliver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that confidence. All right, let's look up at the big board and get this shuffle underway. Here we go. That Timbit is in, and they're off. All right, fans, you got to watch closely, too, just in case these two need a little help. You're going to shout out the answer at them. All right, original dark roast or latte?
Latte.
Latte with some confidence. Let's see if Oliver's right. Yes, you knew it. Good job. An Oilers prize pack is all yours. Congratulations. And remember that you can get personalized offers, earn points, and get Tim's rewards all on the Tim's app. Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the Edmonton Oilers.
Off to the right side of Philip Grubauer. Digging in Alex Wenberg against Lane Peterson, and off the draw Warren Foegele battles for puck possession. Now behind the net, drilled by Alexiak, who worked the puck up the wall, but Lavoie is able to choke it off and now try a backhander from the high slot. That's batted out of midair, smacked down and played with a high stick by Lavoie, looking to keep that play alive. But again, there's no issue there. Lavoie battling and trying to keep the flow of play alive. And Bob, as long as he plays inside the dots, that's going to draw the kind of rave reviews from coaches that started to pick up in the second half of last season in the American Hockey League.
Right now, I think he's in the driver's seat for the 12th and final forward spot on this team.
Face-off won by Peterson, sent in deep, and Peterson himself finds Bouchard in the high slot. Foegele on the right half boards. And that's deflected high in the air. Bouchard was not aware where the puck was. In fact, about 7 players on the ice didn't know where the puck was. Here's Burakovsky hitting the trailer. Dumoulin, and his wrist shot kicked off the blocker of Campbell and stayed out. Wenberg tried to shovel it down low. That was interesting, Bob. It was like a bunch of players trying to recover a fumble while the football was bouncing about 10 yards away. Here's Bouchard. Had no idea where that puck was. Seattle turned it into an on-man rush. Campbell got a piece of the second shot that has come his way. Here's Evan Bouchard, wearing the number 2, being pestered by Jordan Eberle, coming off yet another 20-goal season. Wrist shot from distance, and Jared McCann blows it right past the blocker of Jack Campbell, and that's how he scored 40 a year ago. Goal scorer's goal, 1-0 Seattle.
Yep.
And it starts with Eberle's pressure on Bouchard, which kind of disrupted Edmonton's flow coming up ice.
Yeah, no question, Jack. It also looked to me a bit like McCann shot through. Not really. A little bit of a screen there with Nurse, but just a wicked blast from a guy. And I'll be honest, when we used to see him before, I did not think this guy would score 40 goals. Not to disrespect him, but who saw that coming? Certainly not me.
No. I mean, before he joined Seattle, Bob, 2 years ago, his career high was 35 points. He's had 50 and now 70, so he's doubled his career high. Here's Jordan Eberle down from the right-hand side, coming off a 20-goal season, his 8th. That's all he does. He often scores right about 20, but it's still 20. It's still hard to do. Cody Ceci up the right-hand side, held in by Tolvanen, sent in deep. Cody Ceci back behind the net. The league is filled with guys where you say, oh, he could be a 20-goal scorer. Well, Jordan Eberle is that on an annual basis. It's not easy to do. Bjorkstrand cutting through the middle is Alexiak. Desharnais challenging, forcing that puck behind the net. Takes a hop and is retrieved by Adam Ernie. Fights through Yanni Gourde, barrels down the right-hand side, and ultimately lobs it behind the Seattle net. Of course, Ernie and Gourde, one-time teammates in Tampa. Bjorkstrand did not get it out, held in by Derek Ryan. Grubauer the give, Will Borgen the outlet, and Bjorkstrand launches one up the right-hand side. Gourde against Broberg, who poked it into the far corner. The Oilers have people back. Whiffing on a shot was Cartier, and now it's out to Brian Dumoulin. One-timer off his back foot. Gourde, that sailed wide. Dumoulin will send it down low. Cartier, last year's American Hockey League Rookie of the Year. They had another guy. I mean, the top 2 rookies in the league basically played for Coachella Valley. Riker Evans and Ty Cartier.
Who was their coach again?
Dan Biles.
Has he had any success in the league at all? Pretty good American hockey.
Won a Stanley Cup.
Pretty good.
That's a good get.
Yep.
Especially when you're starting a program. Of course, Coachella Valley, brand new to the league, the American League as well. They had a hard luck series against Hershey. They lost in 7 games in the Calder Cup final. Here's a steal by Tanev. Curls behind the net, tried to wrap it around, and that was blocked. Their 3 wins came by a score of 14-2. They lost 4 games by 1 goal, 3 in overtime, including Game 7. That's a tough loss.
So they're the 1960s New York Yankees is what you're saying.
Exactly. They lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates despite outscoring the Buccos 55-27. Tanev forced it free for Belmar to Adam Larson. And now dropped in his tracks by Connor McDavid. 1-0 Seattle as Bouchard steps in. Right circle to the net. Tiptoed brilliantly by Connor McDavid. What a look by Bouchard. And McDavid deposits it behind Philip Grubauer. It's 1-1.
Well, Bouchard's made a couple tremendous plays so far in this game. He's freed up Zach Hyman for a breakaway, and Connor McDavid. I don't think Adam Larson would be particularly happy there was a no call there, but Bouchard just threads the needle and an open tap in for McDavid.
4 preseason games played for Connor McDavid, 4 goals.
Yep, it's not bad, that guy.
Overtime winner in this building last week against Vancouver, and also scored the game winner on Monday up in Seattle. Off the dump in Kraken get it in deep. 1-1, McDavid from Bouchard. Bouchard, remember, led all NHL D-men in scoring last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Oilers were out in the second round. Give Kane a second assist on the scoring play. Kraken bust up ice, right to left. Burakovsky curls to the middle. Wrist shot save Campbell. Rebound nudged wide. Schwartz threw it out into the slot for Dumoulin. Ryan Dumoulin never scored more than 5 goals, but was a more than capable partner for 10 years with Chris Letang. The ideal stay-at-home guy with Letang's offensive ability. Dumoulin calmly dumps it in for Jared McCann. He's checked in the corner. Puck forced up ice. Gleason was the man that finished him off. Kraken will regroup at center. 3:13 to play. Lead pass for Eberle is off target, and that will lead us to an icing call with 3:09 remaining in the first period. And Edmonton having outshot Seattle 11-4 and breaking through on a brilliant feed for Bouchard and McDavid, answering the earlier goal scored by Jared McCann. So Draisaitl, after that icing call against Seattle, will take the face-off to the right of Grubauer. Edmonton got to Grubauer early and often several times last year.
But he's been good tonight.
3 goals in 3.5 minutes at Climate Pledge Arena. Edmonton pasted Seattle twice, scoring 7 and 6 goals in wins.
And jumped him early.
Yes.
Both games.
Both games.
Took it to him early, right from the get-go.
Well, and again, it was not a good matchup for Seattle had they played Edmonton. But of course, neither team got that far. Seattle beaten in 7 by Dallas, and Edmonton went down in 6 games to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. Off the draw, puck deflects out of play, and Bob and I will take our final.
Loyalty Rewards is a free program that gives Oilers fans the opportunity to earn points for attending games, making concession and retail purchases, watching from home, shopping with our partners, and much more. Redeem loyalty points for exclusive contests, reward items, and merchandise through loyaltyrewards.com or the Rogers Place app. Fans, with the announcement that Nickelback will be headlining the Heritage Classic, limited tickets are still available. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the Battle of Alberta history and secure your spot now. Head to NHL.com/Heritage Classic tickets to purchase yours today. Follow the Orange and Blue Ice Crew on Instagram at Oilers OBIC for exclusive behind-the-scenes content all season long and to keep up with their latest events and appearances throughout Oil Country.
Okay, keep looking up. Okay.
Jackpot sitting at $61,000 right now. Buy your tickets now. You got about 20 minutes until the early bird finishes up. If you get it in before 8 o'clock, you get $500 to Safeway. A chance to win $500 at Safeway. And then if you get in by 9 o'clock, you get a chance to get 2 lower bowl tickets to the Heritage Classic. Wow, what a ticket that's going to be. October 29th, Edmonton, Calgary at Commonwealth. Off the draw, flipped up the left-hand side by the Kraken, who took an early lead in this game on a goal by Jared McCann. Evan Bouchard found Connor McDavid for the equalizer, and that's where we sit. 1-1 with less than 3 minutes to go. A turnover by the Oilers, a backhander by Tanev, flicked aside by goaltender Jack Campbell. Here's Belmar up top. His shot was smothered. Alexiak will jump on it. Left corner, only to have it fished off his stick by Hyman. Broberg did not get it out. Sharp-angled shot toward the net by Borgen, deflected away. And the Oilers given a second opportunity to get it out. Hyman was dumped to the ice by Alexiak, and drifting behind his own net for a reset will be Broberg. Campbell turns around with Brandon Tanev, kind of pestering. He of the wide-eyed look during the preseason photo shoots. Here's McDavid, reeled in from behind by Matty Beniers. That was borderline. Jordan Eberle initially bobbled the puck, and that ended up throwing off the entire timing of the play. And Jared McCann will be whistled for an offside. 1:59 to go, first period. The Oilers won. The Seattle Kraken won. Edmonton 4-2-1 coming in again, having won 3 of 4 against Seattle as part of a 2-year run of domination against Pacific Division opponents. 40-11-1 the last 2 years, the Oilers against the Pacific. They're 5-2 all time against Seattle. Off the draw, the Oilers force it down low. McDavid playing with Draisaitl and Kane as Jay Woodcroft loads it up here in the final 100 seconds of the first period. Big hit on Riker Evans, shook the puck free, but Matty Beniers was there to snatch, deliver to McCann, and he gave it up. It was tipped away. Beniers in front. Eberle point blank, and he missed the net. Rebound up the right-hand side by Bouchard. Not out. Evans kind of swaddled it down low. That was blocker to the corner by Campbell. Bouchard to Kane, and he'll punch it forward. Philip Grubauer out to play the puck. Stripped away from Riker Evans, but there's Yanni Gourde with support over to Dumoulin rink wide, and it's ultimately spilled in by Bjorkstrand. Here's a turnover by Campbell in front. Yanni Gourde could not handle that centering pass, and it bounces out towards center. Knocked away from Derek Ryan, funneled back in by Bjorkstrand, swatted out of midair by Ben Gleason. Now he comes over to challenge Gourde, got his stick on a cross-ice feed, then ends up bouncing all the way out near the Seattle blue line. Whereas played by Dumoulin, turned over by Tolvanen, and now hung on to by Matthias Janmark. Ben Gleason fighting the puck a little bit. He'll return it to Cody Ceci, who resets for Edmonton with a half minute to go in the period. Game tied at 1. Ceci fires it toward the net. Easily guided to the corner by Grubauer. Alexiak comes over, and the 6'7" defenseman up the middle of the ice, out of the reach of Schwartz. Put back in by Desharnais, but now Dumoulin with 10 seconds reestablishes puck possession for Seattle. Up the left-hand side and out for Burakovsky. Dumoulin scampers to center. He'll dump it in, and that'll be all for the opening 20 minutes. The Oilers come out quickly, outshoot Seattle.
And the score after 1 period of play, the Seattle Kraken won. The Edmonton Oilers won. Shots on goal in the opening 20 minutes. For the Kraken, 6. And for your Oilers, 12.
Please remember to be a good teammate and be kind to one another. Enjoy the rest of the hockey game.
Tonight's preseason Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 raffle. The jackpot now up over $61,000 and still climbing. Buy your tickets before tonight's 8 p.m. early bird draw. It's your chance to win $500 to Safeway or a pair of lower bowl tickets to the Heritage Classic during the 9 p.m. live draw in the third period. Purchase your tickets in person from 50-50 sellers on the concourse or scan the QR code on the video board and go directly to the buying link. The draw for that life-changing main jackpot takes place October 14th at 11 p.m. Thanks for supporting the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation.
All right, fans, it's back, and it's time for Oilers bubble hockey. We've got Team Orange battling their rivals in Team Blue for nothing more than bragging rights. So if our bubbles are ready, Hunter, let's drop that puck. All right, our bubbles are off, and it's Team Blue getting it first, fighting for it. Team Orange having a little trouble staying on their feet. Team Blue with the first goal. Nicely done. Okay, Team Orange, the pressure is on. Looking to get it back in their zone. Ooh, defend that puck. And Team Blue, 2-0 for Team Blue. Can Orange make a late play comeback? Let's see, with 20 seconds left on the clock. And Team Blue looking like they're taking control again. 10 seconds left, Bubbles. All right, Team Orange, this is your moment to shine. Can you get one last minute goal in 3, 2, 1? 2-1 for Team Blue for another edition of Oilers Bubble Hockey.
Fans, just a reminder to tune into Oilers Now with Bob Stauffer, weekdays from 5 to 7 on 630 CHED. The Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation is now accepting applications from registered charitable organizations in northern and central Alberta to participate in the 50-50 program. If you are a registered charitable organization in northern and central Alberta interested in participating in the 2023-24 Standing Up for Oil Country 50-50 program, please visit edmontonoilers.com/5050 applications. Take advantage of a limited-time preseason offer with Oilers Plus and get 1 month free. Use promo code preseason23 now and get must-see behind-the-scenes access, all episodes of The Drop, and much more. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Streaming now on Oilers Plus.
Revolution to make my way to stop these trends, yeah.
your goal scorers as we have a 1-1 hockey game after 20 minutes of play. As I'm pleased to welcome you to tonight's first edition of the Oilers TV Intermission Report. I'm Tony Barr. You all know the great Paige Martin. And Paige, of course, the last preseason game for the Edmonton Oilers. 8 of 8 preseason games. The real thing gets started on Wednesday. Tonight, the final tune-up.
I know that we've all been waiting and waiting for the regular season to finally get underway, and we've made it through almost 8 preseason games, and you bet that these players are also feeling it as well. There's a few players, especially in the lineup tonight, who are really looking at the fact that it's their final opportunity to make an impression amongst coaches, amongst management, and you got to think that there's a certain amount of nerves there as well. Jay Woodcroft said every time that these players step on the ice, they are showing us something. They are telling us something. So they're paying very, very close attention to what it is these players are telling them, and so you just got to feel for them that they really feel it tonight.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's first goal scorer. It was Jared McCann getting on the board on a wicked wrist shot that beat Jack Campbell on the blocker side. That goal unassisted at 12:57. And Paige, you know one of my favorite artists, Drake. He came out with a new album today, so you know I have to make a Drake reference, and let's make that reference on this goal here. Connor McDavid here. Take a look at 97 here after the turnover at the blue line. He finds the seam quicker than I drive through to get fast food. It is a remarkable play here. The great anticipation here by 97 as he opens up his stick, and a great feed by number 2.
First of all, Tony, well done. I'm very, very, very impressed with that reference, and we hear some applause, well warranted. As you see, Evan Bouchard just taking his time. He waits for the exact right moment to find his captain, and then Connor McDavid able to just have the tap in. But it's all about that placement and that timing, the patience of Evan Bouchard being able to find Connor there. Of course, evening it out at 1 apiece.
All right, Connor McDavid scores his 4th of the preseason with the assists to Bouchard and Kane. That goal coming at 15:39 as we take a look at the first period scoring summary. The Oilers double up on the shot total against the Seattle Kraken in the opening 20-12-6. A great period there by Grubauer, making a few really 10 bell saves on Zach Hyman especially, but that is the score and the scoring summary after 20 minutes of play. Now, of course, one of the intriguing storylines here is there's a lot of anticipation for amongst Oil Country in seeing that who's going to be dressing on the opening night roster, and this man right here, number 6, Ben Gleason, has entered the chat, especially with the injury to Matthias Ekholm-Page.
Well, Ben Gleason the other night in Seattle, Tony, he was +4. He was really showcasing that when he's on the ice, very good things happen. And Ben Gleason, I mean, he's played in the NHL before. He knows what it takes. But I liked what our good friend Cam Moon said earlier today, that Ben Gleason has this certain level of poise, this patience, and this confidence. And you see it when he's out there on the ice, that, you know, you can trust when he's out there that good things will happen. We saw it Monday night in Seattle. We see it again tonight. And he's one of those players that's really showing, I am valuable to this lineup.
And a couple of updates on a few Oilers. Of course, Oil Country paying close attention to the injury report. Ryan McLeod did say this morning that he basically feels like he's 100%. Head coach Jay Woodcroft did confirm yesterday after practice that Ryan McLeod will be dressing in the season opener in Vancouver. Meanwhile, Matthias Ekholm, a little bit more complicated than that. He admitted this morning to us media members that, you know what, the recovery has been a little slower than anticipated, so it's a wait-and-see game to see. Another Drake reference coming up here, if he'll suit up away from home. Let's take a look back at the first period highlights.
As the puck travels at high speeds and sometimes enters the seating area, please keep your heads up at all times and enjoy the rest of tonight's game. Welcome back to the ice, your Edmonton Oilers!
Wakatankale, honkashilale, wahitikale, hoyate. Nagitankale, tonkashilale, hakisitale, hoyate. We are wakana, nehipi, we are nakasejina, hoyate. Hey, 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 ho. Wakatankale, 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 wakatankale. We are wakana, we are wakana, we are wakana, we are wakana, hoyate, hoyate, hoyate. Hey, 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 ho. Wakatankale, honkashilale, wahitikale, hoyate. Nagitankale, tonkashilale, hakisitale, hoyate. We are wakana, nehipi, we are nakasejina, hoyate. Hey, 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 hey.
At 12:57, just a bullet inside the left post against Jack Campbell, but Edmonton came right back. Bouchard and Kane with assists on Connor McDavid's fourth of the preseason. And as we welcome him back inside Rogers Place, we're tied at 1 for the start of the second period alongside Bob Stauffer. I'm Jack Michaels from our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Legacy, home of no interest, no payments for 1 year. Face-off win for Derek Ryan. Philip Broberg from center, and he'll wrist it down deep. And I'm a Legacy fan, Bob. You got me on that bandwagon. Here's Desharnais, curled
They're
one
fun
line.
guys too, Jack.
Yeah, good guys, but the work is more than solid as well. Lead pass up the gut from Yanni Gord and fired in by Eli Tolvanen. Reversed by Bjorkstrand back behind the Oiler net. Desharnais trying to dislodge, and the puck comes free and scooped up by Jack Campbell a half minute into the second period. With 40 minutes left in the preseason, Edmonton checking in at 4-2-1. Again, the Oilers will open on the road in Vancouver. And it's only the 11th time in their 44 years as an NHL franchise that they'll open on the road. They'll do so in Vancouver and then be home a week from tomorrow night against those same Vancouver Canucks. In fact, they play them again, November the 6th. So a lot of Canucks early in the season.
So I'm just thinking to myself, year 14 for you.
Yes.
So year 14 for you and me together. How many times have we woken up the road during that time?
Well, the one was coming off the lockout. Remember, we opened, I think, in Vancouver, a drive from the high slot, and that sailed wide off the end boards. And then there was a game in St. Louis where the Oilers opened on the road. Remember that goal credited to Nugent Hopkins where it was actually swatted in by a St. Louis Blue.
That was Connor McDavid's rookie year, wasn't it?
Yes. Connor McDavid scored subsequently on a tip in a game that was played in Dallas on that same season opening road trip. Here's Matty Beniers down the middle. Jamie Alexiak stumbled, almost blew an axle, and here's McCann swinging around the boards. Check it, Beniers, and now fired from long range by Borgen. Blocked by Campbell. Rebound out to Alexiak. Soft chip. Borgen a tip in front of backhander Beniers. That was blocked by Campbell. And now Bouchard came over to work the puck free. Nurse able to muscle it up the left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins didn't get it out. Took a cross check from Borgen. Didn't like it. They're still sticking one another. McCann cuts inside. Feathers the pass to Eberle back in front on the deflection. And Campbell slid across to his right to make the save. Evan Bouchard will lead the rush to center. Flip it behind the Seattle defense and change. 18 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the second period. And the Oilers and Kraken knotted at one. A hit on Burakovsky delivered by Evander Kane. But an outlet right on target for Jaden Schwartz. He'll send it in deep. Alex Wenberg, a bit of a drive-by, hacked free, and Ben Gleason will activate and lead the rush down the right-hand side. Brown in front, off the pads of Grubauer, looking to locate McDavid. Connor Brown fighting the puck. He's got three Kraken draped all over him, and finally it comes free to Justin Schultz, the one-time Oiler up to Jaden Schwartz. Back in front to Schultz, and a save made by Jack Campbell, and a big hit. Leveled, and Gleason is going to take issue with that one. He goes right after Cody Ceci. In the meantime, the Kraken scored, but it's going to be waved off as there was pushing and shoving in the far corner. The Kraken ended up scoring on the play,
Wenberg won, but
it was whistled down, and that was a big hit on Cody Ceci, and Gleason went right after Alex Wenberg. He smoked Ceci in the corner boards, and a big dust up, and they blew it dead before Seattle ended up scoring. Wenberg did not throw down. McDavid and Kane went over and then looked behind them and saw Seattle basically playing 2 on none.
Penalty. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
The only minor will be handed out.
Kill that one off.
To Gleason.
And Gleason's doing whatever is necessary to extend his stay here at Edmonton.
And you have to admire it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a guy...
Well, this is going to be one of the... I mean, it's just preseason, Jack, but one of the questions is the Oilers had to basically include Klim Kostin in a deal to Detroit in order for Detroit to buy out Connor Yamamoto, albeit at 1/3. And do the Oilers have got a replacement at this time for what Kostin did? I think we both know the answer is no.
Off the draw, Burakovsky to Justin Schultz, top of the right circle, setting up, firing in front. Cartier to Beniers, but his shot was kicked aside by Campbell, and the rebound rifled down the left-hand side by Philip Broberg, who's out on the penalty kill for the first time tonight. The Oilers shorthanded. It's brought to you by our friends at Napa Auto Parts. Warren Fogle out there defending the blue line. Beautiful play by Adam Ernie, knocking it free and driving down the right-hand side shorthanded. Centered off the boards, and with Fogle in the vicinity, Grubauer forced to fall on it. That's good work by Adam Ernie read the play at his blue line, and with Bouchard and Nurse offering a layer of support behind him, Ernie felt comfortable in stepping up, made the play shorthanded, and then Fogel's hustle in getting in Grubauer's grill forces Seattle to settle for a face-off to the left of their goaltender with 1:25 remaining on their power play.
It's going to be interesting how Edmonton replaces a little bit of what Costin brought. But when that trade was made about 51 weeks ago, nobody saw Costin making the impact on the Oilers that he ultimately did. He's a very effective bottom six role player. Scored some big goals in the playoffs too.
Jaden Schwartz off to Oliver Bjorkstrand. Cross ice. Here's Tolvanen. Centering pass, and that just missed Jaden Schwartz. Here's an opening. Tolvanen looking for Schwartz in the middle of the ice. Broken up, and Connor Brown picks it up for the Oilers and able to slide it in deep. Of course, in that decisive game in LA, the Game 6 clincher, Costin scored 2 and Yamamoto scored the game and eventual series winner. Jordan Eberle weaving his way in, and a misplay as he tried to hand that off to Bjorkstrand, but the puck took a hop on him, and as a result it was an offside whistled against Seattle.
Wow. The problem in the Vegas series was they got 11 goals from McDavid and Draisaitl. That's the good news. The bad news is they only got 8 more goals during the course of the series. That secondary scoring depth that they had basically the entire season kind of dried up in that series against Vegas, and it was Vegas, the team that got the 5-on-5 scoring that tilted the ice, especially in Game 5 and Game 6.
I think you'd agree with me. They had enough goals. They didn't have the goals against they needed, because when you got a lead in all 6 games of the series,
got to get a couple of those games to at least overtime, don't you? And that's where the switch and focus this year more of a zone defense and more passive in the neutral zone.
Here's a steal by Evander Kane on Matty Beniers, and short-handed, Kane is able to golf it behind the Seattle net, and the Kraken power play will die. So they're now 5 for 20 in the preseason, after again being 21st in the league on the power play last year.
Thought that was too many. That was close.
Up the right-hand side, Adam Larsson, Andre Burakovsky back to the point. Larsson looking for a shot lane. It's not there. To Dumoulin. Back to Larsson. Top of the left circle. Steps in. Wrist shot off the blocker at Campbell from the face-off dot. Rebound. Yanni Gourde let it go through to Dumoulin. Now has it back right face-off dot. Mishandled in the corner for a moment. A hit by Nurse looking to dislodge against Burakovsky down low. Kept alive by Dumoulin. Flipped over to Alex Wenberg, a one-time Columbus Blue Jacket. Bjorkstrand, likewise, also an ex-Jacket. Larsson, up top, high slot. Good extended shift for Seattle. 5-on-5 here. Broken stick on the ice, so it's almost a 5-on-4.5. Wenberg, top of the right circle. Operating essentially without a stick right now is Leon Draisaitl. Yanni Gourde. Falling. Unable to keep the puck in. Raphael Lavoie unable to extricate the puck from Gourde, but that will allow the Oilers at least to get a change, and now we're going to have a pick whistled against Seattle. Tripping will be the official call at 5:49 of this second period, and the Oilers will be on their second power play of the night, looking to take their first lead.
Minor penalty, tripping.
It's on Leon.
Oh, it's on Draisaitl. My apologies. So Draisaitl goes to the box. He was heading to the bench and cross pass with Brandon Tanev. And so it's Seattle right back on the power play. Face off right side of goaltender Jack Campbell. Kraken just failed to score on the power play. Nugent Hopkins won the draw. Connor Brown did not get it out. Riker Evans over to Bjorkstrand. Right circle wrist shot. Glove save Campbell. And he'll freeze it. He's got 10 on the night. And a faceoff will come to his left. Seattle, meanwhile, opens in Vegas Tuesday night, which is actually opening night of the NHL.
NHL teams have to have their lineups in place by 3 o'clock Edmonton time on Monday.
Desharnais unable to get it out off the draw. Second time hit the linesman. A third time bottled up by Jaden Schwartz. Jordan Eberle. Soft chip to Bjorkstrand. And now a long distance shot taken by Evans, and that's speared by Jack Campbell. Riker Evans, a highly productive player from the back end for the Regina Pats, and then an American Hockey League All-Star last year in his first pro season. 44 points in the regular season, and then 26 in the playoffs.
They beat a pretty good team along the way, right? The Calgary Wranglers had a good season last year. Dustin Wolf in goal.
Lane Peterson, well, he's the MVP of the entire league. Face-off win for Peterson. A length of the ice clear delivered by Cody Ceci. None the worse for wear after that hit by Wenberg. 6 1/2 gone by in the second period. Back-to-back Seattle power plays. Turnover by Jordan Eberle. Lane Peterson shorthanded. Reshot right circle, and that caught the side of the net. I think Grubauer got a piece with the leather, and it kissed the side of the net on its way by. Eberle hits the Edmonton line. Bjorkstrand to Tolvanen. He could shoot it. Bothered by Peterson. He'll return to the point. Ernie on that side. Pursuit behind the net. And a clear out successfully executed by Nurse, allowing Ernie a clear down the left-hand side. Seattle power play down to 30 seconds. 12:45 to go in the second period. We're tied at 1. First period goals by Jared McCann and Connor McDavid, who between them had 104 goals last year. Burakovsky in from the left-hand side. Justin Schultz. Burakovsky left circle. Shot blocked. That one stung Desharnais. Caromed right to Justin Schultz. He'll get it back from McCann. McCann checked by Fogle. Schultz threw it down in the corner. Got it back and sent it across to Burakovsky. Now Schultz lets fly, and that shot skips into the far corner. Grabbed by Cartier as Edmonton returns to full strength. Seattle 0 for 2 on the power play. Draisaitl back out there as Justin Schultz, recognizing his team was offside, had to give way to Desharnais. Lead pass to Fogle, right wing. He'll backhand it behind the Seattle net. Grubauer directing traffic. Sees a clear, pertinently delivered by Jamie Alexiak. I want to see it rolled back the other way by Tim Gleason. Not Tim, Ben. Tim was the cousin, played a decade and 700+ games in the NHL. Alexiak on the outlet. Right-hand side, Yanni Gourde. Gleason family likes those short, masculine names. Ben, Tim, I imagine there's a Sid.
And a Bob.
And a Bob. Here's Ben Gleason. Ducking around Wenberg. Oh, big hit. Gleason finished. Will Borgen in the corner. The outlet for Wenberg, who likewise got a shot from Gleason. Gleason wants to fight Wenberg. He's not going to take that fight. Borgen with a shot short side and a save made by Jack Campbell. And now Gleason has some more words for Alex Wenberg. He really didn't like that hit on Cody Ceci. As Bob mentioned, Ben Gleason knows he's got one last chance to make this hockey club, and he's determined to be noticed. And he has been.
It's time for another edition of Hunter. I've got Katrina here with me, and she is going to try to locate Hunter in the crowd for a pair of tickets to see Godsmack right here at Rogers Place on October 12th. Okay, now in just a moment, we're going to hand over the keys to one of our Rogers Place end zone cameras. You had a brief training course, a crash course, if you will, with our camera operator, Len, and you're going to try and find Hunter with that camera. Katrina, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
She's ready. Okay, well, let's swap places here. Katrina, the reins are all yours, and we're going to start that clock as you look for Hunter right now. All right, let's see if we can track him down. Fans, if you have any idea, start pointing her in the right direction. Katrina, I'm going to give you a hint to look up. Look way, way up. Up and to the left. Can she find him? All right, that was maybe 21, 22 seconds, but we're going to give it to you anyways. Katrina, you're off to go see Godsmack October 12th right here at Rogers Place. And if you want to go check out that show, head to Ticketmaster.ca.
have split 26 shots on net evenly, as Edmonton earlier this week beat Seattle in the Pacific Northwest 4-1. McDavid with the game winner in that one. And Jack Campbell, a sterling effort in net. He came in having stopped 64 of 66 shots, 12 of 13 tonight. Having a stellar preseason. Evander Kane busting in from the left-hand side. A centering pass went off a skate. It was intended for Connor Brown, but cleared safely by Cartier. And now moving in, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare turned over at the Edmonton line. Kane a bit off balance, managed to stay on side, tried to throw it across. It was tipped, and ultimately gathered by Brown and played back to Nurse for a drive that was blocked up top by Cartier. They'll fire one rink wide for Tanev, then get it right back, but the pass eluded him. He took it away from Darnell Nurse, slid off one check from McDavid, but not the second. And Brown will give it up for Connor McDavid, left wing. He's double teamed. Larson in pursuit, Dumoulin off to Bellemare, and the puck successfully cleared back through the neutral zone. Philip Broberg leading the rush down the left-hand side. And he takes a pop from Adam Larson for his trouble. Broberg, good game Monday in Seattle, and he followed it up with another fine outing Wednesday in the pulverization of Calgary. Kraken into the offensive zone. Jordan Eberle handles a saucer pass, and a one-timer fired by Evans disappears into the glove hand of goaltender Jack Campbell. And one of the plays that Broberg made up in Seattle was a beautiful backhand dish to Xavier Bourgault for the latter's second goal. It's kind of kick-started his preseason a bit. Much more assertive in the last two.
Fans, don't miss the chance to score with this limited-time deal at the Section 109 Ice District Authentic location. Take advantage of a buy one get one 50% off deal on Mitchell and Ness products. Get yourself geared up and ready for the season with this smoking hot deal, available only at the Section 109 location. So make sure you swing by during the intermission. Less than 175 Oilers season seats remain. Limited full and split season seats options are available in both upper and lower bowl locations. To learn more about available season seats, go to edmontonoilers.com/season seats or visit the sales booth at Section 120. Calling all Oilers fans, the West Edmonton Mall autograph section is back. Come meet your favorite Oilers players in this full team event. The entire Oilers roster will be in attendance, and you don't want to miss it. Join us October 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. and head over to web.ca/Oilers for more information.
39 to go, second period. Edmonton, Seattle locked in a 1-1 tie. Oilers won 50 games a year ago. Missed winning their first division title since 1987 by a point. Seattle, in their second year of existence, rolled up 46 victories and came within a game of reaching the conference final, and now off the draw.
They're having a discussion if Eberle grabbed the puck with his glove. They're going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Vinny Desharnais pleading his case, but they'll go with the wily veteran, Jordan Eberle.
Who takes a lot of draws as a right shot on this line. Beniers was at 42% last year, Jack. That's part of his game that's going to have to improve.
Well, it's something you often see with younger centers breaking into the league. The man strength that you have to deal with at this level is, you're not going to duplicate it in major junior or NCAA Division I hockey. It's just not going to be the same. Driving in from the right-hand side, Leon Draisaitl. Checked by Eberle. He'll work it around the end boards, but it's taken out of the zone by Beniers. Got to it from Nugent Hopkins, and now a penalty be whistled against Edmonton. That will go against a man who's been very noticeable on the ice tonight, and he didn't want to take that penalty. It's Ben Gleason. 9:04 to go in the second period. I mean, from his standpoint, you know, this tripping call, even though it doesn't seem like it means a whole lot coming at the midway point of the second period in a preseason game, for Gleason, it's everything right now.
Yep.
He knows he's right on the bubble. He needs a few things to go right for him in terms of some injury news, but he's played his way into contention for a spot off the draw. Jared McCann on the power play for Seattle sets up Cartier. Harassed by Matthias Janmark, and up top Peterson challenging off to Cartier. He whistled one off the outside of the right goal post. Campbell had that covered up. McCann over to Burakovsky, and now Schultz watches it sail through. Beautiful feed Cartier, but slow to release was McCann. Now McCann gets it back, and this time fires it off the left pad of Jack Campbell. Good save for the Oiler netminder. Cartier on the rebound. From the right circle, Beniers. He'll get it back from Justin Schultz. Deliver down low. McCann tried to give it to Beniers. Broken up, but not out. Darnell Nurse got a stick on it. Didn't get it out. He and CC out there on the Napa Auto Parts penalty kill. Peterson and Janmark up top. Shot from the point, caught up near the clavicle by Campbell. He had a good look at it. Burakovsky was just hoping to angle one off his pads, but Campbell caught it. Now both teams will shuffle the deck personnel-wise with 1:05 left in the penalty to Gleason, and 8:09 remaining in this second period with the game tied at 1. No scoring thus far in the second. McCann and McDavid, the team's leading scorers a year ago, accounting for the first period goals.
12-1 the shots here in the second for Seattle.
Game started 9-1 Edmonton. Since then, 16-4. Off the draw, little feed by Riker Evans from the high slot, pursued by Derek Ryan. He'll move it inside Yanni Gourde from Tolvanen, who then played it back. Long shot Evans, and that might have stung Vinny Desharnais. Caught him on the left wrist, I believe. Bjorkstrand strides to the top of the right circle, gives it up. Shot blocked against Tolvanen. He'll leave it for Yanni Gourde. Hugging the left half boards. Derek Ryan in the shot lane. Now Bjorkstrand in front, feathered toward the net, and Eberle could not pop it over the left pad of Jack Campbell, who makes the save and keeps it a 1-1 tie with 7:26 to go in the second.
And he's hurt right now. Took one off the leg and one off the hand. And Seattle, who were not a great face-off team last season, 50% after the first period, but they've won the 2 draws on this power play. The Oilers have never got the puck out of their own zone.
Eberle against Janmark, who this time wins the face-off. Nurse failed to clear. Bouchard tied up in the corner with a couple of members of the Kraken. Battling hard as Gourde flicked it back to the high slot. Briefly held in by Tolvanen, now carried out by Janmark. He finds Warren Foegele to Janmark. A backhander to kick save made by Philip Grubauer. That shorthanded chance developed out of nowhere, and Edmonton back at full strength. Eberle down the middle of the ice, and that was flubbed by Bjorkstrand. He had a good look, wide open in the slot. Got it back from Gourde, slammed it off the side of the net. Gourde kicks it out to Adam Larsson. Fed along by Dumoulin to Jaden Schwartz, defended by Warren Foegele. He'll trade spots with Bjorkstrand on the left half boards. Foegele stayed with it and muscled it free for a Janmark clear up the right-hand boards. Grubauer, long stretch to Jaden Schwartz. He'll carry it in right wing. Drop past Brandon Tanev. Driving to the net, tried to center, but that went off the skate of Darnell Nurse, who got inside Tanev's sweater and freed the puck up for Evander Kane, who lobs it inside the blue line, put too much on it. It's icing against Edmonton with 6:19 to go in the second period. And the game tied at 1, even as Bob has mentioned. Now, of course, the Kraken have also had a couple of power plays, but the shots, nevertheless, 13-2.
Campbell's been solid.
Again. And that's why I was careful to say, I mean, you know, what we saw in the first period, goals go in like that for Jared McCann, the Jared McCanns of the world, the Connor McDavids. I mean, when you're a goal scorer, you're going to score some goals that you might think, oh, you know, he should have had it. Well, there's a reason they go in for those guys. Here's Wenberg walking in with a backhander and a good save made by Campbell. Stayed square, didn't overcommit. Now Connor McDavid driving in against Brian Dumoulin. Played it fairly well, and when McDavid tried to kick it back into the high slot, it was brushed back inside the Oiler blue line. Cody Ceci up the left-hand side. McDavid to Evander Kane, and from center, he'll hoist it behind the Seattle defense. Played on a bounce by Alexiak. Will Borgen slammed into again, this time by Kane. Shot from the point by Ben Gleason. He had it blocked. That looked like a trip on Borgen as he peeled the feet from out underneath Connor Brown. It was not called, and Alexiak will clear it up to Belmar. He'll dump and chase from center. Retrieved by Philip Broberg. Took a peek, skated away from Belmar easily, and left it for Connor McDavid. Bursting through the neutral zone, chipping it into the open glove of Philip Grubauer. 5:13 to go in the second period, and the game remains tied at 1. We'll step aside from Rogers Place. The final game of the preseason brings Seattle to town. The Oilers and Kraken, Pacific Division rivals, collide tonight before the games count in the standings starting next week. We are tied at 1 with 5.
All right, Rogers Place. I'm here with my new buddy Lucas. He's 12 years old, and he's about to spell his way to a signed Darnell Nurse photo in tonight's edition of Oilers Spelling Bee presented by Rogers. Okay, Lucas, you get 2 out of 3 right, and you're going home with that signed Darnell Nurse photo, okay? Let's get your first word for you. Here we go. Can you spell brown?
B-R-O-W-N.
Yeah, nailed it. Okay. Okay. Lucas, we're going to make things a little harder for you now as we move on. Your second word is Bouchard.
B-O-U-C-H-A-R-D.
Professional speller over here. All right, we got the 2 out of 3, but let's just for fun see if you can get the last one, okay? Can you spell Fogle?
F-O-U-G-L-E.
Kind of, but you know what? We only needed the 2 anyway, so 2 out of 3. You got the signed Darnell Nurse photo. Lucas, at 12 years old, amazing, amazing job. And fans, with NHL Puck Drop just around the corner, Rogers Moments wants to send you on a VIP trip to any NHL home opener. Enter at rogers.com/NHL Faceoff.
One tie, 5:13 to go second period. Edmonton and Seattle will meet one another 4 times this year, and off the draw, Vinny Desharnais swings a wrist shot in the general direction of Philip Grubauer. He's able to swallow it up. Kind of a home-and-home deal in November. Oilers will play in Seattle on November the 11th and then play host to the Kraken 4 days later. They'll meet again in mid-January here at Rogers Place and close out their regular season series in early March in Seattle. Hyman off to Leon Draisaitl. And again, Edmonton feasting on Pacific Division opponents the last 2 regular seasons. Finished last year on a 14-0-1 run against the division, including a big win in Seattle where they got to Grubauer early with 3 goals in the first 3.5 minutes. Here's Nugent Hopkins. A wrist shot by Desharnais. Snapped his stick. Seattle with the puck, and now a penalty will be called, a slash. And there was a reason that stick was snapped. And it's going to be a slash handed out to Yanni Gord.
Number 37, minor penalty for slashes.
Oh, what a story.
There's the second power play of the game. Bob, excuse me.
Yeah, what a story he's been. He works his way all the way up from the ECHL at a 64-point season with Tampa Bay. Fairly consistent. Second/third line center at this stage in his career.
Won 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a nice go of it, and he's sitting in the box right now, and Edmonton looks for its first lead of the night. With 4.5 to go in the second period, it's an Atco power play. The usual suspects, Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, and Bouchard, but a face-off win for Seattle, and it's pounded down the ice by Jamie Alexiak.
Part of the reason Bellemare was brought in, right? That veteran poise and presence and penalty killer.
Professionalism. McDavid weaving his way through center. Beautiful move. Alexiak finally able to reel him in. Force the puck free, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-2 for Seattle, shorthanded if they want it. Left to right comes Brandon Tanev. Over the line, stripped from behind by Nugent-Hopkins, and there's the problem. Now it's a 3-on-1 the other way. Nugent-Hopkins to Zach Hyman. Wrist shot, score!
Might get a challenge here. Looks really close to offside at the blue line.
Nugent-Hopkins makes the play. Hyman finishes it. Power play goal for Edmonton, 2-1. But Nugent-Hopkins reeled in Brandon Tanev, and that's the problem. When you elect to try to turn a 3-on-2 shorthanded against some of the world's best players, you better hang on to the puck, because if you don't, it's coming the other way, and bad things can happen.
Well, they're not going to challenge it.
I love my partner. He's already worried about preseason challenges.
It's all good, Jack. We're there for you.
Would you say you're concerned about a potential challenge on, what, 3 out of 5 goals?
Does that say more about me or more about the state of the league right now, Jack?
That's true. Here's Jared McCann tumbling to the ice as he tried an off-balance wrist shot from about 45 feet. When he carried it back in, he was offside. 3:29 to go second period, but how about the pursuit? And again, that's why he's been known as that two-way guy for 13 years. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins makes the defensive play at one end and a brilliant feed to the middle to allow Zach Hyman to bury it at the other.
That's a good shot by Hyman, but I just didn't have Nugent-Hopkins finally breaking the plateau of 100 points in his 12th year when he never had a 70-point season before him. It's quite the story.
Yeah, you weren't thinking 100, Bob. You were thinking, well, maybe he could get 70 or 80.
Yeah.
Usually you build that in, but then again, you look over at the Seattle side, and same thing with Jared McCann, right? 40 goals, 70 points 2 years ago, you would have been laughed out of the building. Sent in deep by the Oilers. Sometimes it's about opportunity. Sometimes it's about late career blossoming. Burakovsky up the gut. Jaden Schwartz receives a pass from Wenberg, who's dropped to the ice by Darnell Nurse. Boy, Wenberg is not a popular player on the Oilers bench right now. Nurse went into the midsection of Schwartz, who then sent Bouchard to the ice. Eventually the puck
some good sound
flipped inward by Edmonton. Yeah, absolutely. Burakovsky from Adam Larson, and now Jared McCann. Moving in, left wing, Dumoulin a shot, and that was tipped up and out of play with 2:26 to go in the second period. Edmonton has claimed its first lead of the night on a power play goal by Zach Hyman, set up by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The steal at one end, the dish at the other.
I think in R&H's case, Jack, as far back as when we were at that draft in 2011 at St. Paul, I think we thought he could be an 80-point guy. I mean, who wouldn't have thought that in his first year when he had 52 points in 62 games?
And that was the key. The 62 games, he blew a wheel in Chicago, and that kind of derailed a potential Calder season. Off the draw, Larson backing off. Eberle worked it behind Ben Gleason. I mean, I think at the time that Nugent-Hopkins went down, he was probably the front runner for that award, and the Oilers have never had a Calder winner.
Well, Landeskog got the same amount of points and played 82 games, and he got the Calder that year. Didn't he?
Matty Beniers, right-hand side. Eberle dropped it back. Beniers a shot to save Campbell. Rebound, and Campbell was able to fight that one off against Beniers. Minute 49 to go in the second period. Still 2-1 Edmonton.
I've often said when you're on a power play that clicks at 32.4% in the NHL, there's a chance you're going to have career highs.
Yeah. Well, everyone did.
Right.
McDavid 153, Draisaitl 128, the most forgotten 128-point season arguably in the last 25 years of the league. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins 104, Hyman 83.
So what does Bouchard get this year?
Well, if he's running the first unit the entire season, you'd think that 60 points is certainly a possibility.
100%.
Vince Dunn had 64 last year. Here's Yanni Gourde at the middle of the ice. Ellie Tolvanen stripped by Nugent-Hopkins, starting up ice with Draisaitl and Hyman. Draisaitl a little drag move off to Hyman, and that was knocked off a stick by Will Borgen and backhanded ahead for Bjorkstrand. He was checked immediately by Vinny Desharnais, and Draisaitl will carry it back into the offensive zone. Good battle won by Nugent-Hopkins. He's been dogged on the puck tonight. Gets a pass from Draisaitl and shoots it right off the post. Leon Draisaitl, beautiful reverse hit, flattened Tolvanen, then fought off Borgen as well. Back to Broberg. Nugent-Hopkins to Broberg. Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins. Broberg with a minute to go in the period, over to Darnell Nurse. A shot, a save, Grubauer. Leon Draisaitl, Bob, it's evident, recognizes that Nugent-Hopkins is playing at a very high level. He's looking to feed him whenever possible. Yanni Gourde off to Alexiak, and that went off the heel of the stick of Ty Cartier with 40 seconds to go in the second period. That was also a sequence where Draisaitl went into that little zone of his where he gets to a point, Bob, where you're not getting the puck from him no matter how many players you throw at him.
And that's part of the reason why I think he's a guy who is almost better in the playoffs in the regular season, because he's playing playoff hockey in the regular season, engaging in that level of physicality. It's not an adjustment for him come playoff time, even when he's playing on one leg, as we saw 2 years ago. 17 points in 5 games against the Calgary Flames.
Belmar up the right-hand side. Brandon Tanev tried to chip it back in front, and then a great save made by Campbell. It came right back to Tanev, who wired it on net. And Campbell, in a little swim move, caught the puck as it was heading underneath the bar with 23 seconds to go. Tanev got a break when that puck came right back to him, and yet Campbell was there and made a difficult save because Tanev shot it right by his ear, and that's where a lot of scorers are starting to aim, right by the ears of the goaltenders. And Campbell was able to fight that off and make it look routine. Face-off win for Seattle. They've done a nice job on draws tonight. Here's Tanev, left circle. Shot swallowed up by Campbell. The rebound back to Tanev. Down behind the net, Cartier is able to poke it free of Bouchard. Off balance, Justin Schultz. A weak shot that's blocked. And now Adam Ernie at center ice will dump it in, and that will be all for the second period. And the Oilers will take a 2-1 lead into the dressing room. And now we've got some rough stuff with Nurse getting on top of Brandon Tanev and pulling him out of there. Tanev was trying to get at Adam Ernie, and Nurse immediately grabbed him and pulled him out of the pile.
Cartier got a good piece of Ernie right at center ice, and Ernie went right back at him and said, "Let's go, buddy." I think Ernie might get the extra minor here. And then coming to the defense of Cartier was Tanev, and then he got heaved-oed by Darnell Nurse as we had a little bit of fireworks here again in the second period.
Shots 12-5 Edmonton in the first, 18-5 Kraken in the second. But that matters not. The Oilers are able to nick Grubauer for one, thanks to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who made a fantastic defensive play to strip Tanev at one end and then feed Hyman in the slot. Nurse looked like he was trying to bend Tanev's head back behind his shoulder, so that was an awkward situation.
Reminder to respect your fellow fans. Let's make tonight a memorable experience for everyone.
Tonight, preseason Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 raffle. Jackpot is now just under $90,000. It's still climbing. If you buy your tickets before tonight's 9 p.m. early bird draw, it's your chance to win a pair of lower bowl tickets to the Heritage Classic during the live draw in the third period. Purchase your tickets in person from 50-50 Settlers on the concourse or scan the QR code on the video board and go directly to the buying link. The draw for this life-changing main jackpot will take place October 14th at 11 p.m. Thanks for supporting the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. Get into the game and experience Oilers hockey with a group of friends, teammates, co-workers, family, or customers. Select from reserve fan seating or food-inclusive seating options. Group seats start at just $49. Book your group outing tonight at edmontonoilers.com/groups. Fans, Molson Game Day Live returns for our season opening event next Wednesday at Central Social Hall downtown. Tons of great Oilers prizing up for grabs, including your chance to win one of 7 trips to see the Oilers on the road in Montreal. The more you attend Molson Game Day Live, the better your chances are at the grand prize in April 2024-25 season seats. Visit OilersGameDayLive.com for more information. Fans, don't miss exciting Oilers hockey right here in Rogers Place. The Oilers kick off the 2023-24 campaign October 14th when they take on the Vancouver Canucks. Puck drop for the home opener is scheduled for 8 p.m. You can purchase your tickets for that game and any game this season by visiting EdmontonOilers.com/tickets. And fans, don't miss the chance to score with this limited time deal at the Section 109 Ice District Authentics location. Take advantage of a buy one, get one 50% off deal on Mitchell & Ness products. Get yourself geared up and ready for the season with this smoking hot deal. Available only at the Section 109 location. Make sure you swing by during the intermission.
We work out usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday here in the gym or on the ice or whatever, but Wednesdays we usually go play pickleball.
So every Wednesday at kind of like 9 o'clock, we've been going and playing pickleball, and there's a lot of lovely people there that we kind of play a tournament style with.
Senior citizens are very good at this sport. They knew where to place themselves, and they hit the ball very well. You know, they put a lot of spin on it, so when you try to return it, it's a lot harder than it seems. After you serve it, on the return, you can't just go and volley the smash in there. You got to wait for it to bounce, so that makes it easier, I guess, for everybody, regardless of skill, to get good rallies. It's been wide age range, but it's still been really good and really competitive, so it's been fun.
They are way better than you'd think, and some of them, maybe they can't move as well as us or whatever, but they're just so positionally sound. They know exactly where the ball's going. We just appreciate them letting us play with them, so it's a lot of fun.
Stu, definitely, you know, I can tell he's been playing for quite some time. You know, he was hitting it with a lot of spin, and he knew where he was going. He was hitting it really hard. Good work. Good point. Hamlin was really good too. Whoa, you okay? That was probably the worst one, but it was my first game, so I was learning. Okay, like this? Okay. Yeah.
He was pretty good. He was telling me before that he didn't think he was going to be good, and I thought he exceeded my expectations. He was kind of, you know, he picked it up pretty quick. He's a bit of a bigger guy too, so, you know. He's still got a lot of work to do there, but it was still fun.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was a tremendous experience, and I got humbled.
That's good. Wow. What a shot.
There's some good players. Zach Holmes probably at the top. He's just so big. You know, you can't get the ball around him.
Hammer probably wants me to say him too, or Stewart probably wants to. I'm not gonna say Stu. He's up there, but I'll say James if I can't say myself.
Good shot, Chad.
It's been a fun kind of thing just to get away from the rink and still do an activity.
All right.
It gets competitive, and we usually have the same guys every time. So it's been a lot of fun.
Second period marker has the Oilers up by 1 after 40 minutes of play. The score is 2-1 for the home squad. As I'm pleased to welcome you into another edition of the Oilers TV Intermission Report. I'm Tony Brar, you know Paige Martin. And before we get to the hockey talk here, Paige, just wanted to give a quick shout out. Of course, there's two individuals that do such a great job in running the in-game presentation here at Rogers Place. Of course, Lindsay Gullett and Josh Park. Josh Park is actually on the call tonight and in our ears, and we just ran into his father, Travis, who is celebrating his 50th birthday. So a big happy birthday to you, Travis. We just saw him a couple of minutes ago, and he doesn't look a day over 35. But speaking of the 30s, and let's jump up one number to number 36, Jack Campbell, who continues to make his mark with Edmonton.
I really liked that transition. That was really nice. Jack Campbell has had a few starts through the preseason, and I think what's been so great to see is his level of confidence that he's come into camp in the preseason with, but also the amount of fun that he's having as well. He's having so much fun out there, and I think that it's translating into how well he's been playing. Yes, he's been making incredible saves, some big saves in big moments, but it's not always about those big flashy saves. It's about keeping your team in the game, and that's exactly what he's done through each of his starts. So I think that Oilers fans can be very excited about what we have been seeing from Jack Campbell, and I mean, credit to that save that we saw in the last 30 seconds of the second period.
And in his two prior starts, he stopped a total of 66 of 68 shots coming into tonight, picking up right where he left off. He's been phenomenal for Edmonton. But let's jump to the other side of the ice, where Zach Hyman made his mark in this hockey game. And a nifty little play here by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to kind of hold up just enough and buy a little space for Zach Hyman. Right here, just holds up just enough and then gives the puck to Zach Hyman, who makes an excellent move to the slot and buries another in the preseason.
I love that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins doesn't give up on this play. It was turned over from the Oilers, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins chases the puck back down. He picks it back up, and then he's got Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman coming with him over the blue line. Of course, then he finds Zach Hyman right in the slot, and Hyman makes that wise decision to just pause one moment for the correct shot and makes no mistake.
And that goal comes on the power power play as we take a look at the scoring summary in that second frame. And this is why we highlighted Jack Campbell. He turned aside all 17 shots directed his way in the middle frame. So 2-1 is the score so far here tonight at Rogers Place. Let's take a look at the NHL out-of-town scoreboard. 4 other games in action tonight. Carolina defeats the Nashville Predators 4-1 on home ice. The New Jersey Devils shut out the New York Islanders. I gotta say, Paige, the Devils, they look legit, led by Jack Hughes, of course. Both Hughes brothers, I should say. 3-0 the final over on Long Island, and 7-4 the final as the Pittsburgh Penguins defeat the Buffalo Sabres. As Sidney Crosby actually got into a fight in this one with Peyton Krebs sticking up for his teammate. Of course, a great leader and one of the best leaders that Canada has ever produced. And speaking of Canada, an all-Canadian matchup. It's 1-1 after 20 minutes of play between Calgary and Vancouver. So, of course, Paige, this is the final tune-up for the Edmonton Oilers, the final tune-up period. What are you looking for here from Jay Woodcroft's side?
Well, I think that we can expect to see a final push. We were talking about those bubble players that we've heard Jay Woodcroft say they're the guys that are, yes, trying to make the roster and also trying to be that first call-up throughout the season as well. So there's a lot that they're playing for and a lot on the line. I think that there's a final 20-minute frame where these players are going to be showcasing that. I've liked from Ben Gleason that we've seen a little bit of tenacity from him, a little bit of that physical play. And those are different things that they want to be able to showcase about their game, how diversified their games are, to be able to say, this is what I can add to the lineup. And I think that the same can be said about the Seattle Kraken as well. It's a final 20 minutes and in a very important 20 minutes as well.
All right, so a very happy birthday to you, Mr. Park. Hopefully the Edmonton Oilers can deliver with a gift of a big W to round out their 8-game preseason schedule. And had a couple of fans ask me to make another Drake reference on the way to the stage. So all I got to say is, after tonight's hockey game, I'm going to make sure that I listen to that album not until 5 a.m. in Toronto, but until 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Enjoy the second period highlights.
Made this here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping our coast. Way too big when we pull up, give me the loot. Was off the Remy, had up at post. Had to hit my old town to duck the news. 24-hour lockdown, we made no moves. Now it's 4 a.m. and I'm back up popping with the crew. I just landed in, Chase B mixes pop like Jamba Joe's. Different color chains, think my jeweler really selling fruits. And they joking, man, know the crackers wish it was a news.
Surrender, retreat, we all in too deep. Plan for keeps, don't play.
Fans, the puck travels at high speeds and sometimes enters the seating area. So please keep your heads up at all times and enjoy the rest of tonight's hockey game.
first place in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. The score, 2-1 Edmonton. Power play goal by Zach Hyman. The difference right now off a strip from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The ensuing feed right on Hyman's tape, and he puts it upstairs. An extra penalty handed out at the end of that period, and it was assessed to Adam Ernie for a cross-check. So this will be Seattle's third power play of the night. Both teams 0 for 2 thus far. 50-50 raffle sitting at about $105,000, and you've still got some time, actually 1 minute. You've got 1 minute right now. Get online and buy your tickets, and you'll have an opportunity to win 2 to the Heritage Classic in about 3 weeks' time. Driving in from the right-hand side. Here's a blast that was sent high and wide, grabbed by Burakovsky and snuck to the inside. Justin Schultz giving up to Cartier. Nap Auto Parts penalty killers, Nugent-Hopkins, Connor Brown, CC and Nurse. CC the challenge, the centering pass, Matty Beniers, and then Cartier let it drift back to the high slot where it was ripped high and wide by Justin Schultz. Fed to Cartier. His wrist shot was smoked wide. It had a lot of heat on it. Clattered off the corner boards, eluded Burakovsky, and Justin Schultz in full retreat with a minute left in the call to Adam Ernie. Controlled and drop back to Jordan Eberle. Ellie Tolvanen back down to Eberle. Derek Ryan with a backhand flip off center ice. Carried back in Tolvanen. Now Eberle. Poked by Broberg. Left it ultimately in the corner for Tolvanen. He'll send one skipping pass to Riker Evans. Tolvanen. Bjorkstrand right face-off dot. Shot missed. High glove on Campbell, and that'll clatter off the glass and all the way back to center. And Adam Ernie prepares to emerge from the box, and this will be another failed power play endeavor for the Seattle Kraken. Taken away by Evander Kane at center ice. Wrist shot, score! Posted in. 3-1 Edmonton. A rocket from Evander Kane, and the Oilers extend their lead to a pair of goals.
Well, that was just an absolute bomb by Evander Kane. I mean, he got all of that. Jack, I got to tell you this right now. To me, that's the best shot we've seen him snipe since he suffered that wrist injury last year. I mean, he got everything on that.
That was a laser.
Must have picked up a piece of the stick on the way, because it took off and it got up in a high heat in a hurry on Philip Grubauer. And it was Yanni Gord back, and it did deflect off of Gord's stick.
Kane at 2:04, and the Oilers extend to a 3-1 lead. So in a back-to-back sequence, Hyman ends up converting. And then Seattle fails to capitalize on a power play, and the Oilers come right back the other way and push their lead to 3-1. Evander Kane at 2:04, and that's another point for Evan Bouchard. He's got 2 assists in his last 2 games. Was that too many men on Seattle?
I thought so, but they didn't call it.
Jaden Schwartz up to Brandon Tanev. Tried to center, tipped away by Nurse. Now a shot from distance, and Campbell snatches it cleanly at the expense of Will Morgan. Well, the Oilers up 3-1, and if they should close this out, it would be 5-2-1, the preseason slate.
And a reoccurring theme in all 3 of Jack Campbell's starts, Jack.
Solid.
And outplayed the other Guardian.
Just the single assist for Bouchard on the goal. Zach Hyman at center. And remember, with NHL players now in the lineup the last couple of games, the Oilers have also got 3 power play goals, Bob. 2 on Wednesday, and of course Hyman's go-ahead power play goal tonight. I might have said Edmonton was 0 for 2. They were 1 for 2.
Well, we should mention they're still working on some kinks in the score sheets, new computerized system for the National Hockey League. preseason for them as well, and it said 0 for 2 on the.
Well, I knew they had scored a power play goal. I think I said 0 for 2 inadvertently, but of course Hyman the power play goal. Then they kill off Seattle's.
Yeah.
And then end up capitalizing directly off the penalty kill, which so often happens, with special teams and goaltending. There's a reason. The shifts in momentum can happen. Desharnais from Broberg ahead to Warren Fogle left wing, cut off at the Seattle line. Burakovsky brings it back through neutral and leaves it for Jaden Schwartz. He'll in turn move it forward. Fogle angled off in the corner, but he got it out to Raphael Lavoie. Shrugs off an initial check from Justin Schultz. That would have been offside. Lane Peterson was in early. Lavoie ended up colliding with Jaden Schwartz. Wenberg ahead to Burakovsky. Right circle wrist shot, and that just missed. Campbell trying to make himself large. Saw that whistle over the right shoulder and the crossbar. Here's Alex Wenberg for Seattle. Schwartz back to the point. Riker Evans across for Justin Schultz. Derek Ryan stays with him and actually dropped Schultz in his tracks. Then Wenberg fell down. Seattle felt there should have been a penalty called. And bursting up ice is Matthias Janmark. Drops it off for Bouchard, who rifles it right into Philip Grubauer. And Bouchard can really shoot it. Grubauer came way out to cut off the angle. 15-16 to play, third period. Oilers on top by a count of 3-1.
Derek Ryan, after I think they missed maybe 2 calls against Seattle, Derek Ryan very lucky not to have
maybe taken an interference on Schultz.
That certainly looked like a penalty. For Justin Schultz, who, like Jordan Eberle, is a pending UFA at the end of this season.
Former Oilers, along with Adam Larson, Kyler Yamamoto. Seattle has kind of become Edmonton Northwest, moving in right-hand side. And a centering pass for Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Shaken off the puck, cleared up the left-hand side to the net with a wrist shot. Connor McDavid sticked aside by Philip Grubauer. Kept it alive for Brown. Kane hovering close by. And then chipped out to Tanev. Poked away. Bellemare had it. Cody Ceci shovels it down low for Kane. Wound around the boards and held in by Ben Gleason. Working hard. See whether or not the injuries on the Oilers' back end might result in an opportunity for him. You mentioned he played 4 NHL games. Bob, that was years ago. Here's McDavid rushing in off a turnover. Could not shovel the puck through the wickets of Philip Grubauer. It's kicked out to the point. Gleason gets it back from Cody Ceci. Moves the puck to Evander Kane. Inside for Connor Brown. Those games came in his first year. It's been 4 in the American League since. Gleason flipped it down low to Kane, coming off the goal line to McDavid. High slot for Ceci. And now Gleason will give it right back to Ceci as the officials making sure there's not excessive holding down low. Kane bothered by Dumoulin, who plays it softly off the glass and out, as he's done for a decade in the NHL. Connor Brown moved it forward behind the net. Jamie Alexiak for Seattle. Nice play by Draisaitl to keep it in, albeit momentarily, as Tolvanen will spin and clear. Desharnais gets it back to Draisaitl, who put it behind the Seattle net, left for Gord by Alexiak, and ultimately the Kraken clear through neutral. Vinny Desharnais up the right-hand side. Hyman dashing after it, beaten to it by Borgen. Up the right side, Eeli Tolvanen. Alexiak cuts to his right, tries to get around Philip Broberg. Nearly 7 minutes gone here in the third period. The Oilers have tacked on one more. Kane from Bouchard at even strength, 2:04, right after a successful penalty kill to start the period. And Edmonton's lead 3-1. McDavid, Hyman, and Kane. Sent in deep by the Kraken. Gord and Eberle operating from beneath the goal line. Eberle comes out to the right circle. Good look. Riker Evans was sneaking down low. Pass just off the mark, and then Justin Schultz sent it wide. Rebound for Eberle. He'll play it back to the point. Up to the high slot. Evans to Eberle. The drop off. Beniers in front, and a block shot by Darnell Nurse. That was a great look and Nurse was in the shot lane and blocked it. The Oilers will take the icing call, but Darnell Nurse likely saved the goal there with 12:26 to go in the second period. Now, Campbell was sliding across. He might have had it.
Yep.
But that's heads up by Darnell Nurse. Good puck movement from Seattle.
Who do you like tonight? Campbell obviously in goal. Bouchard on defense. Anybody up front?
Nugent Hopkins.
Okay. Duly noted.
Draisaitl will dig in against Matty Beniers.
These guys need a change for Edmonton. They've been out for a while.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, that Nugent Hopkins is playing, in my opinion, his best preseason game tonight. And for the veterans, they can see the finish line as far as the preseason,
sure.
and they want to see the games count. They're up to game speed now, they feel, and they're as excited as anyone for the regular season to begin and start putting some wins in the bank. Oilers the last 2 years have gotten out to 9-1 and 7-3 starts. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about the Oilers' poor starts. It's really a poor December. Up the middle, Peterson breaks loose to the net, and Grubauer came out and was able to swallow it up after yet another brilliant look. And that guy's been moving the puck all night. You've noticed it. And what a chance. The long range, it was Hyman who broke in and tried. That's a third time tonight Zach Hyman has been foiled on a breakaway. After a great look,
Hire Hunter for your next event or special occasion, or you can book Hunter for your very own cameo-style video greeting. Perfect for birthdays, wedding messages, or simply a gift for the big Oilers fan in your life. Scan the QR code on the video board to book Hunter, and make sure to follow along on Instagram at Hunter Oilers for his next adventure. Net proceeds from the Hunter appearances benefit the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation.
Such a ground girl, just a fan run.
Your attention, please. We have a lost fan. Excuse me, sir. The Atlanta Thrashers don't even exist anymore. They moved to Winnipeg. And the Jets have the night off, so they're not playing either. But make sure you return here to Ice District on Saturday, October 21st at 8 p.m. when the Jets are here to take on the Oilers. You can get your tickets for that game at EdmontonOilers.com/tickets. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of tonight's game. And hey, let's go Oilers!
Off the draw, Oilers pressing for more. Already leading 3-1, and it's Gleason with a drive from just inside the blue line. Grubauer makes the save with Lavoie perched right on top of him. That 6'5" frame, trying to set a screen for his D-man. 3-1 Oilers. Welcome back inside Rogers Place in the Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth alongside Bob Stauffer, Reed Wilkins, Rob Brown. Immediately behind us here on floor 8 at Rogers Place, the final preseason game. McDavid, Hyman, and Kane, the goal scorers for Edmonton, erasing an early 1-0 Seattle lead. Jared McCann, the only man to beat Jack Campbell tonight on 23 shots, none of which have occurred here in this third period for Seattle. They have not gotten a shot on the Edmonton net. Well, they're credited with one. They've been monkeying with that shot clock. I guess it was 22 officially after 2 periods. So one shot in nearly 9 minutes as the Oilers move in left to right. Vinny Desharnais. Peterson tried to make a spin move and had it taken away by Burakovsky. Barrels down the right-hand side. Wrist shot to save. Campbell with no rebound. Square to the shooter, and he put it in his hip pocket with no problem. And those are chants of soup that echo and reverberate throughout the crowd of 18,141. And good crowd. We've had more than 36,000 people back into Rogers Place for the final 2 preseason games, and they've been rewarded with NHL lineups. And to this point,
from Edmonton,
yes, and a goal spread of 10-3. Now, Calgary had an AHL lineup. This is Seattle's team to start the year.
I got a good lineup going.
I mean, I'm not sure Vince Dunn's going to be in the opening lineup. He might be unavailable. Not out long term, but he's banged up. Off the draw, Adam Larsson briefly held the zone, but the Oilers ultimately get it clear to center. Derek Ryan had it snatched away by Yanni Gourde, who takes a pass from Bjorkstrand. He's loose in the left-hand corner. Steal by Vinny Desharnais, who turns, plays it up the boards. Ryan digging hard and ultimately forces it free of Riker Evans. Taken from behind by Gourde, but that'll be a slash on Yanni Gourde. He came in on Derek Ryan, and although he'll plead his case with 10:31 to go in the third period, the Oilers will be on the Atco power play for the third time tonight. They're 1 for 2. Zach Hyman put the Oilers ahead for the first time tonight with a power play goal 4 minutes into the second period, and that was when Brandon Tanev elected to pursue a 3-on-2 rush the other way shorthanded. Nugent Hopkins picked his pocket at one end and fed Hyman for the go-ahead goal at the other.
Well, Yanni Gourde got away with tried to get away with the slash that was not a penalty back in the late 1990s. The old woodchopper's ball. It's getting called today. I think the Dallas Stars, that's how they stick checked. The height of their powers in the late 90s.
Darian Hatcher off the face-off, blasted down the ice by Jamie Alexiak, an ex-Dallas Star. Evan Bouchard to Leon Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins round out this Atco power play quintet. Larson does not get it cleared initially, but got a second chance at it and fired it up the left-hand boards. Campbell will knock it down for Bouchard, and halfway through this third period, the Oilers start up ice left to right on the power play. Leon Draisaitl, nifty feed, Hyman on the right wing. He'll send it around the end boards. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with the puck behind the net to Hyman. Over to Leon Draisaitl, top of the right circle. From the corner, Connor McDavid out to Bouchard. Left point, Nugent-Hopkins. Bouchard high slot. Here's McDavid, top of the right circle. Draisaitl, McDavid, right side. Over to Bouchard, left point. Tried to throw it across, intercepted. Wenberg down the middle of the ice and too far for McCann for a shorthanded breakaway. Came in hard on Campbell, hacked the puck away from him, and then got smoked by Bouchard. That was good work by Bouchard to force a bad pass. McDavid the steal, and here come the Oilers again. Draisaitl rink wide to Nugent-Hopkins in front, and Larson got his stick on that pass. Lunging play by Nugent-Hopkins to keep it alive for Bouchard. McDavid back to Bouchard, high slot. 9 minutes to go in the game and 30 seconds left in the Atco power play. First unit staying on there this time. Nugent-Hopkins back to Bouchard. Earlier in the preseason, we saw them give way after about a minute. McDavid had it slapped away. Kept alive, Draisaitl gets it back from Bouchard. Steps in, right face-off top. Feeds Bouchard. McDavid loading up left circle. Bouchard doesn't shoot. Pressure from Tanev. Nugent-Hopkins clears space. Left face-off dot. Tried to play it to the middle, and that was broken up by Belmar. As the power play comes to an end, the first unit out for the full 2 minutes. 8:20 to go. No further damage inflicted by Edmonton. The score remains 3-1 Oilers. Here's Ben Gleason. Building steam around Eberle. Touched on by Lane Peterson. Recovered by Dumoulin behind the Seattle net. Justin Schultz to Beniers, sent off balance. Kept alive. Peterson to CC. A shot. That was broken up. Peterson pursuing and ultimately cleared down the left-hand side. Ben Gleason will pick it up for Edmonton. Ram it off the boards. Connor Brown racing after it. Beaten to the puck by Dumoulin and shoveled in by Eberle. Jaden Schwartz, left circle. Put the brakes on. From beneath the goal line out to Brian Dumoulin. Cross ice. Beniers can't get there. CC will for Edmonton, and Derek Ryan off the boards to Evander Kane. Poked free by Connor Brown and recovered ultimately in his own zone by Justin Schultz. 7.5 minutes remaining in regulation, and Edmonton has scored 3 unanswered goals to overcome an early 1-0 deficit. Jared McCann, the only man to beat Jack Campbell tonight. Campbell 24 saves. He's given up just 1 goal at this point in each of his 3 preseason starts. And remember, in 4 postseason appearances in last year's playoffs, he played to a save percentage of better than 96. Yanni Gourde to Burakovsky through the neutral zone. Kraken attacking right to left. Broberg comes over and thrusts Burakovsky to the ice. Following up, Desharnais. Burakovsky back on his feet, checked by Fogle. Not out of the zone, Larson. Winds it down low, Yanni Gourde. Wrapped up, Burakovsky needs new headgear. Desharnais will not allow Gourde to get free. Back to the point, Adam Larson steps in, dishes off. Evans a shot, save Campbell, again, no rebound. 6:35 to go and some rough stuff in front of the Oiler net. And Broberg physically engaged as well as Vinny Desharnais. The teams have split 50 shots on net evenly, but not the goals. 3 belong to Edmonton, just 1 for Seattle. It's the Oilers by a deuce with 6.5 to go in the preseason. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network. You're down.
We are so excited to bring you tonight's Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation preseason 50-50 raffle. Now, right now is a good time to go ahead and get those tickets out, as someone in here could be the lucky winner of 2 lower bowl tickets to the Heritage Classic on October 29th. Now, that life-changing jackpot currently sitting at $109,000, and it's going to keep climbing. That draw is going to take place October 14th at 11 p.m. But now it's time to announce the winning number of those tickets to the Heritage Classic later in October. The winning ticket is B1001 18854. Check those tickets. If you're the lucky winner, email 5050@edmontonoilers.com. And thank you to everyone who purchased a ticket and supported the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. Right now, I know it's only preseason, but there's no other fans in the league that do it better than Oilers fans. So get up out of your seats and make some noise. It's time for an Edmonton Oilers t-shirt fight! Face-off coming to the right of Jack Campbell. 3-1 Oilers. Campbell 25 saves. Staking his claim to be the Edmonton opening night starter. When they head to Vancouver, they'll practice Tuesday, then fly straight to the home of the Canucks, and we'll have the season opener for you right here on 6:30 CHED and the Oilers Radio Network next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Oilers Canucks once again open a regular season. Edmonton in openers over the course of its franchise history, 25-13-5, including a come from behind win over those Canucks last year. They were down 3-0 on home ice, rallied to win it 5-3. Puck sent in, then got off to a terrible start again against Calgary in Game 2, Bob, and almost rallied to win that game too. They were down 4-0. I think they lost 4-3. Kraken moved the puck into the offensive zone right to left. Here's Evans over to Larson. Wrist shot, save. Jack Campbell, the rebound, punched forward and out by Connor Brown.
0-7 start last year for Vancouver as Thatcher Demko really struggled out of the gate.
Well, that'll be the story in the Pacific Division. Even among the top teams, who's going to emerge as the #1 in Vegas? Will it be Logan Thompson reclaiming the top spot? Will Philip Grubauer or Jacob Markstrom or Thatcher Demko deliver a bounce-back season? And what will be the breakdown in Edmonton in terms of how many starts aside? Puck dislodged off the playing surface at neutral ice with 5:37 to play in the third period, and the Oilers holding a 3-1 lead. Jared McCann opened the scoring. McDavid, Hyman, and Kane overcoming that early deficit. Kane here in the third period. Alexiak off the draw, forced one to the middle. Slashed back in by Derek Ryan. Race for the puck. On it was Adam Ernie. He'll spin and shoot wildly wide. Rebound Gleason. Put it back behind the net. Ernie looking for one last push. Playing on a PTO right now. Derek Ryan. Shot from the corner and a save made by Grubauer. Rebound Collected by Jaden Schwartz over to Will Borgen. Burakovsky down the right-hand side. He'll hit the Edmonton line. Wind it around. Wenberg on it from the right half boards. The puck deflected out into the slot. Zach Hyman is there for Edmonton. Cody Ceci dumps it in. Leon Draisaitl getting a shift here with less than 5 minutes to go. And the Oilers holding a 3-1 lead. Nugent Hopkins hovering close by, but Wenberg with an outlet. Burakovsky from center will shoot it in. Campbell to knock it down. Here's Philip Broberg. Yanni Gourde. No quit in his game. Forced the puck loose, but Draisaitl was there to scoop and clear to Vinny Desharnais at center ice for Edmonton. Streaking in right-hand side. A wrist shot missed the net. Desharnais still looking for that first NHL goal. Played 36 games for the Oilers a year ago. Here's Warren Foegele battling in the corner. Puck shaken free. Bjorkstrand for Seattle out to Borgen. And as we hit 4 minutes to play in regulation, it's a dump in for Eeli Tolvanen. Philip Broberg able to squeeze through heavy traffic and play one up the left-hand side. Long stretch. Foegele looking for Raphael Lavoie. Intercepted by Riker Evans of Seattle, and Larson will play it up the right-hand side for Brandon Tanev. He'll hit the Edmonton line. Tried to drop it off. That's picked off and cleared with ease by Lane Peterson. And that'll be an icing call against Peterson. Put a little too much on it. Lane Peterson, Bob, is he in tough?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Raphael Lavoie, probably.
For me, it's going to be Raphael Lavoie. Quick update.
How much of that is related to the waiver situation?
100% that's a factor. Absolutely. Okay. Also, let's not forget that the Oilers have got Lane Peterson on a one-way at $775,000. Now, if you claim him, he has to be on your NHL team, but sometimes that scares teams off of claiming guys if they think that there's a chance he ends up back in the American League on a one-way deal. Speaking of the American League, out of town, the scoreboard for Pizza 73. It was 2-0 for San Jose over Bakersfield, and Xavier Borgo has scored twice. It's tied 2-2 Bakersfield and San Jose heading to the third.
Borgo, of course, scored twice in the win over Seattle on Monday night, leading the Oilers to a 4-1 victory. And Edmonton's going to finish the preseason with a perfect 3-0 week. Win on Monday in Seattle, and then Wednesday and Friday home victories. Provided something strange doesn't happen here in the last 3 minutes. And Campbell, through a screen, is able to locate a wrist shot from Oliver Bjorkstrand. It didn't have a lot on it, but it was well placed, and Campbell able to find it through traffic and pick up his 27th save of the night. 3:13 to go in the third period. Bob and I will be back with the finish of the preseason and some final thoughts in just a moment.
Don't want to miss any exciting Oilers hockey right here at Rogers Place. The Oilers will kick off the 2023-24 campaign October 14th when they take on the Vancouver Canucks. Puck drop for the home openers.
Broken up. Lane Peterson. Defended by Riker Evans. He's got it. He'll move it around. 35 seconds left. Ceci. Ricocheted back out. Ben Gleason will settle the puck. 29 seconds left. It was a 4-1 win by Edmonton Monday at Climate Pledge Arena. 3-1 lead here. 20 seconds left. Through center by Fogle. All the way down. 15 seconds. Fogle defended by McCann. Final breakout for the Kraken. Jordan Eberle through the middle of the ice. Here's Beniers with Burakovsky, who moves it in. 6 seconds left. All the way back, Bjorkstrand. Schultz a shot stopped by Campbell. Desharnais took care of the rebound. Burakovsky at the horn. That's all. Edmonton picks up the win.
Throughout this preseason, Seattle's done a lot of great things. A lot of things that you can bring into the regular season that starts on Tuesday. Now the wins and losses don't matter throughout the preseason. Yes, you'd love to win them all, but everything's back to zeros.
Back to zeros it is. Some decisions will be made. The Kraken will practice tomorrow. There's a fan event at Kraken Community Iceplex. We look forward to that. An off day on Sunday, and then the regular season will begin. So for Piper Shaw, JT Brown, and our entire crew, preseason hockey is over. The Kraken finish at 3-2-1. It's an outstanding camp with some young players pushing the veterans hard for jobs. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens for real in Las Vegas. Tuesday, we'll see you in Nashville on Thursday of next week. From Rogers Place, this is John Forsland. Good night, everybody.